Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Blue Eyes White Dragon deck profile. So this deck is a deck that I'm really excited to show you guys. It's not Chaos Max, it's actually a fusion build of Blue Eyes White Dragon, which is a really fun deck to be able to summon Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. Now I do play, actually, just for style points, I do play all four of the Blue Eyes fusion monsters in the extra deck, which is Blue Eyes Twin Burst, Blue Eyes Ultimate, Blue Eyes Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate, and Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate, just for the style points. And I'll show you guys why I do later on in the video. So before we get into this, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and let's get straight on into this. And we're going to make Seto Kaiba proud. But before we do, guys, I really quickly want to give a shout out to one of my buddies, Jordan. I'm really excited to show off this deck because he and I have been kind of collaborating on different builds where he's had his build and I've had my build with this. He plays more of a Predaplant engine build in his to search polymerization, where I plays in more of a pure build in mine. So let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Blue Eyes White Dragon is the centerpiece of this deck that you have to play 3 copies of it because it is the legendary dragon that is powerful, and it is a powerful engine of destruction, virtually invincible. Very few have faced it to live to tell the tale. So as soon as you summon this, you know you're going to win because very few have faced it and lived to tell the tale, and it did win worlds at one point. So then we're going to be playing 3 copies of Blue Eyes White, or Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. Blue Eyes White Alternative Dragon, all you have to do is reveal a Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand. Special summon this card once per turn from your hand. And then also, you can target a monster your opponent controls and destroy it, but it can't attack the turn you activate that ability. Not that big of a deal, but it basically gives you extra fusion targets to be able to fusion summon into your Alternative Ultimate Dragon. 1 copy of Dragon Spirit of White. I just play 1 copy of Dragon Spirit of White because I only ever find that you need one. It always counts as a Blue Eyes card, and basically it's treated as a normal monster while in your hand or in the graveyard. And when this card is normal or special summon, you can target 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls and banish it. And if this card you control, if your opponent controls a monster, you can tribute this card to special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, which can kind of help you out if you're getting targeted by something your opponent controls. I play 3 copies of King of the Swamp. The reason I play King of the Swamp over the Predaplant engine is because with the Predaplant engine, if you open up a Cobra, you've got a dead card in your hand. But if you open up King of the Swamps, or you open up 2, you can use 1 to discard and 1 as a fusion material to summon your alternative Blue Eyes White Dragon, because it just specifically lists that you have to have 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons on this card. So you can discard 1 to get the polymerization, and then you can use 1 as another copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon, which is extremely powerful to be able to do. Then I play 3 copies of the White Stone of Ancient. I play 3 copies of it because you can dig it out of the deck extremely easily and use it as a material to link into Linkuriboh to give you a monster on the field, and then special summon Blue Eyes from your deck as well, and then you can banish it from your graveyard to target a Blue Eyes monster in your graveyard and add it back to your hand to add stuff like your Blue Eyes Alternative White back to your hand after using it as fusion material. Or if you've used your Blue Eyes White Dragon as fusion material, you can add it back to the hand if you have an alternative in your hand to special summon out the alternative. Then I play 1 copy of the White Stone of Ancients. White Stone of Ancients is a good card to be able to use, to be able to like normal summon and then use as link material to go for Linkuriboh to add that Blue Eyes White Dragon from our deck to our hand. I just played as a 1 of in here. You could probably get away with 2 or 3 in here because you're trying to get Blue Eyes to your hand as quickly as possible, not special summoning it. That's what's really cool about the eggs, is they're very interchangeable depending on what you're trying to do. Kaiba, my other friend, Jordan, he plays around with 3 copies of the White Stone and 1 copy of Ancient, but I'm doing it in reverse. So you can play either way if you want to. 1 copy of Maiden. I know this is kind of weird, but you don't see Utopia of the Lightning as much as anymore. So this card is kind of one of those cards that kind of throws your opponent off. And I really love the artwork of this card, so I wanted to play it as a 1 of. Some decks don't have a complete out to this because they have to target it or attack it to destroy it. And this card just special summons Blue Eyes if it's targeted or attacked and switches its battle position if it's attacked. So it's a really good card as a 1 of to kind of throw on the field, and your opponent goes, wait a minute, what? and you have it as a tuner monster to go into your synchro plays as well. Then for my hand traps, I play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is super good in the deck to be able to stop your opponent from doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So your opponent can't special summon stuff from the extra deck or from the deck, or special summon or send stuff from the deck either. So this card's really good to be able to just stop your opponent. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So the spells is where we play a lot of cards. We don't play that many monsters. I think we play 18 monsters in the main deck, something like that. So for the spells, we're going to be playing 1 copy of 1-for-1 just to discard our cards from our hand to the graveyard to be able to get our White Stone of Ancients in the grave or on the field. 1 copy of Dragon's Mirror. Dragon's Mirror is here if I get a bunch of Blue Eyes in the graveyard. I can summon my copy of Alternative Eyes, or Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon, or Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon by using my monsters in the graveyard as a material. This is basically a Miracle Fusion. Then I play 1 copy of Pot of Desires just to be able to dig into the deck. You don't want to Desires into a Desire, so I just play it as a 1-of. 1 copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is really good to be able to send stuff to the graveyard, like your copy of White Stone of Ancients, or you're the White Stone of Legend, which is really good to be able to add stuff from your deck to your hand. 2 copies of Silver's Cry lets you special summon normal monsters from the graveyard, which lets us special summon our Blue Eyes White Dragon directly from the graveyard to just swarm our opponent. 3 copies of Return of the Dragon Lords. This card is just really good to be able to special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon, especially if you use it as fusion material to special summon one of our Blue Eyes Ultimates. You can just instantly special summon it back with the Return of the Dragon Lords, especially if you use 3 Blue Eyes like I have before and had 1 copy of Silver's Cry and a Return of the Dragon Lords, and then had something else, like I guess you could have like 1 Silver's Cry and 2 Return of the Dragon Lords, because Return of the Dragon Lords isn't once per turn. Activate 2 of these and 1 of these and revive all 3 Blue Eyes back, and have Alternative White Dragon on the field, pop 3 cards on the field, or pop a card on the field, and then attack with all 3 Blue Eyes and just win. Which is really, feels awesome to be able to do. 3 copies of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is just a really good, stop your opponent from hand trapping you card. 3 copies of Polymerization, because you have to get Polymerization in order to go into our big plays. 3 copies of Melody of the Awakening Dragon, because this card adds Blue Eyes from deck to the hand, either Alternative or the Blue Eyes White Dragon. And then finally, 3 copies of Trade-In. Trade-In is just to dig deeper into the deck. It's a good draw card to be able to draw additional cards by discarding Blue Eyes White Dragon to the graveyard. And it's not that big of a deal because we do play Dragon's Mirror, that we can go into the Blue Eyes all over again by reviving them with, Return of the Dragon Lords and Silver's Cry, or using Dragon's Mirror is to fuse all of our Blue Eyes together to summon one of our fusion monsters as well. And I cannot emphasize how good Twin Burst Dragon is, because you can use Polymerization to summon it, or you can just contact fuse 2 Blue Eyes to summon it as well, which is really, really beneficial to be able to do. So that's it for the spells. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing 1 copy of the Ultimate Creature of Destruction. I feel like you only need 1 copy of this card ever. I see people play 2 or 3 of this card, and I'm like, man, you can reset it, so you only really need 1. You can target a Blue Eyes monster you control, and then until the end phase of this turn, that face-up monster is unaffected by card effects except its own, and it cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, any opponent's monster that is destroyed by battle, you can banish it or destroy it during the end phase if it battles that monster. And when this card is in your graveyard, if you normal or special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can set it back on the field but banish it when it leaves the field. So this card is just a really good, in my opinion, it's a good 1-of in the deck. You could probably play it at 2 and still be good, but it's just a really, really good card as at least a 1-of in the deck, and I highly recommend playing it as 1-of. I don't play Bingo Machine Go. I think Bingo Machine Go is still overhyped. It's okay, but in the fusion build I just don't like it. I don't really like Bingo Machine Go. I like playing stuff around that because it's a really expensive card that's just not crazy good. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Blue Eyes Ultimate or Alternative Ultimate Dragon. This card's the new card that just got released in the Megatins. It requires 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons to special summon it, and your opponent can target it or destroy it with card effects. Once per turn, you can target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it, but if you use Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon as a material, You can target up to 3 cards your opponent controls instead, but it can attack the turn you activate that ability. That's not that big of a deal because you're just going to overwhelm your opponent with the amount of times you're going to destroy stuff on your opponent's side of the field. So it's not that big of a deal to just be able to just destroy, 1 card at a time. Or 3 cards at a time. Then I play 1 copy of Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon is the reason why I play so many fusion materials. Basically, this card is the in-game card if I'm going to, OTK my opponent because I'm going to attack so many times. At the end of the damage step, if this card is the only card you control, and this card is Fusion Summon, card attacked, you can send a Blue Eyes Fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard to let it attack once again. You can do that twice, so that's why I play 5 fusion materials in here, or 5 fusion monsters in here, because you can summon this one first, and then if it's the only one you have on the field, or the only card you have on the field, you can attack once, twice, 3 times, send these 2 to the graveyard, or send these 2 to the graveyard, and be able to attack extra times. Usually I send the second copy of Alternative Eyes or Alternative White, and then the OG Blue Eyes Ultimate to the graveyard to be able to attack 3 times, which is really cool to just flash them the Blue Eyes Ultimate and be like, yeah, that's what I'm playing. So that's another thing that you can do. If it's in the graveyard, you can banish this card. When a card or effect is activated that targets a Blue Eyes monster, this card's in your graveyard, you can banish it and then negate the activation if you do destroy the card, which is really good to be able to do. I play 1 copy of the OG Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon because it's just awesome to be able to play Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Sometimes it's really fun to just Dragon's Mirror this card out or poly this card out when you know you're going to win, not summon this one, just poly this out and go, yeah, Blue Eyes Ultimate for game. It's so nostalgic to do that, especially in friendly duels. Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. Twin Burst Dragon basically is a contact fusion monster. You just take 2 Blue Eyes monsters, Blue Eyes White Dragons, and contact them together. Special summon this from your extra deck, not using polymerization. It cannot be destroyed by battle, and this card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. And at the end phase of the battle phase, when it attacks an opponent's monster, but the monster was not destroyed, you can banish the opponent's monster. So it's really big for having a 3K body. It attacks twice, and it can banish stuff. So if you just have 2 Blue Eyes on the field, highly recommend summoning this. 1 copy of Spirit Dragon. You just really need 1 copy of Spirit Dragon. I've never had a moment that I wanted to go into 2. So Azure Eyes. I make Azure Eyes a lot in this deck. 1 copy of Cloud Castle. Cloud Castle's here to summon VFD if you want to summon VFD. 1 copy of Black Rose Moonlight Dragon to tribute. You tribute the Silver or the Spirit Dragon to summon this. 1 copy of your True King of All Calamities. You can summon this pretty easy off of summoning this Cloud Castle after you summon one of these 2. And then you just bring it back to summon it off the True King of All Calamities. 1 copy of Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon, Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon. These are just here to have 4K body that you can summon this and then summon this on top of it. 38 Hope Harboring Dragon Titanic Galaxy. I summon this all the time. The Hieratic Link monster I summon pretty frequently because you can use the eggs to summon it really easily, and it's just good as a disruption to be able to spin stuff back, and special summon Blue Eyes from deck. And Link Rebo, just because Link Rebo is a card. I don't play the Guard Dragons in here because you just don't need them. You really don't need them in this particular build for a Dragon deck. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of this video down in the comments down below. It's a super fun deck to be able to play Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. I might even title it Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon deck. I don't know yet. I might title it Blue Eyes White Dragon. I don't know yet what I'm going to title this deck. But anyways, guys, definitely give us a like, comment, and a subscribe. Hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.